else is kind of staple in the Toastmasters world. Okay, Jim is like really strong and one of the components of Toastmasters and everything else. Jim was the guy who turned around and got me started. Somewhere along the lines, we got engaged by somebody speaking, and we in the background said, I can do that better, all right? And that's what kind of brought us on this little trip out here, all right? And there's a tremendous amount of people out there that engage other people and other audiences themselves through their words. Gene Greisman, tremendous when he does this. Ken, tremendous. And a ton of other speakers themselves that you'll get to know and learn and understand within the Georgia Network and within the national network. But it was Jim Dawson who actually brought me to a first meeting. In fact, we used to meet at the Crown building. That's what I thought this was. It was the other Crown building.
Got it.
The brown ugly one right off of
Yeah.
285. Did I say it that way?
Right.
And
In
so,
Crown Plaza.
in the Crown Plaza.
Yes,
That's what I
I work
thought.
for that hotel.
Did you really? Oh, it says a lovely hotel. Right?
It's not. It's
Insert
good.
foot and mouth and enjoy. And
But
so,
it's going to be remodeled.
is it really? Good, I hope so. They would
It
take it
was,
right down
yeah.
from the bottom of the platform. It's
Yeah.
really awesome. But what's unique about it is Jim Turner, and we had, and that was the stadium seating, and they had in that auditorium type deal out there. And you brought in, it was very funny because at that time we used to go around and everybody used to introduce themselves. And we had to say has changed that kind of around a little bit, and we want to welcome all these people in. And that's when we had a different management company at the time and things of this nature. But it was very funny, Jim, and they went around. And I remember the first time getting up and just saying your name in front of me. You know you're in a room full of what speakers. You're in a room of communicators. You're in a room, so you go, and my name is, and it doesn't come out. And you say, am I in the right place or not? All right? And so through this, Jim, you know, I'm super fans of mentors and people themselves along the way, and you have opportunity to reach out and pull these skills. You know, NSA is funny because you can go through these halls of NSA and you can hear one person say, you gotta do it this way, and you can see another person says, you gotta do it this way, and you gotta do it this way, you gotta do it this way, and you turn around and you go, that's wrong. Maybe, all right, but let me try it. Let's see what happens. And that's what it is. It's trial and error. And basically it comes out to the personality and the types of person that you are, and how you're going to bring that communication to the forefront. And once you start to capitalize that and you create that mantra of who you are, the dynamics of who you are, then that's when the world starts to create around you. All right? And then you use everybody else. All right? I probably do something like I said, Jennifer's told me, because I got Jennifer and Deb in the office. And they say I do somewhere 130, 149 shows a year. Then on top of that, okay, I'm a real estate broker in 6 states. I run several programs in real estate. I'm financial services, so I'm licensed and series licensed in 65, 63, 70, 73, and series 6, 7, 63, and 76, 78. And so when you look at the life, and between what I do there, I still run other companies and businesses at the same token. And I'm still out there selling real estate. I'm still out there cutting policy, all right? And I'm still out there developing the relationships of people to what they do, all right, from mentorships and the Value Core Institute. What we do is we're Chart Global. And on top of that, I was just in Naval Air Command doing a program down there. And I do probably, in essence, of maybe $2 million a year with those guys. All right, just on products and services for one of my old engineering companies. That I said, if they leave the industry, we're going to hunt you down and kill you. All right?
Yeah.
And so those are the things that we take with us, and that we're able to what create within the confines of what we do, and through our story, our content, our humor, and the entertainment that we bring to our listeners' ears and our eyes. And so that's unique, and it's NSA Georgia. I mean, you've got some great tools here. I don't know why this room is not filled. All right? I think people have jobs, and that could be one of the reasons.
That's how they pay
I'm
for
quite
this, yes,
sure.
right.
But here's the thing itself, you don't own it, you can't have it, and that's one of my biggest mantras out there, is that you really got to attack this industry. There are tons and tons and tons of people. You know, in the real estate industry, it's very funny, we talk about 1.3 million realtors in the country, okay, and there's 1.3, but you take a look, I've got every designation, certification known to man and woman on the earth inside of real estate and finance. Okay, there's nothing left for me. Okay, except for just creating them, and that's what I do. Now I create new designations, and it's pretty cool. And then people turn around and they say, "Geez, when I saw the stats come out for the National Association of Realtors yesterday, and it was only 83,000 people out of 1.3 million that actually have taken the steps to increase their level of learning, understanding, and education in their own field of play. And I said 83,000 in comparison to 1.3 million across the country. I said somebody's missing the boat. And so, like I say, here, all right, what we have to do is continue to carve out, peel back that proverbial onion. Listen to Patricia Fripp. Patricia Fripp will tell you this all the time. Carving it down, peeling it out, pulling it out, all right? Find out what that story is. Find out what that content is all about. Find out what the humor is about and how your story content, your entertainment, how you're going to bring that level of entertainment to the forefront. Okay. And so you really engage people on that grounds themselves, and NSA is here is just to help you along the way. And it gives you some additional guidance and engagement. You got some great people in there, all right? Take a look at Corey, what Corey's doing, all right? Take a look, from his world of the internal reaching out to people through different types of media and everything.
And I don't know if you know it, Corey's the program, the
Good.
co-program for.
He should be. Corey's the one that's hanging out in the halls of NSA.
For 2018 for the national.
Good, superb.
So-
All right. Well, I know Dan's up there. I know Waldo's up there.
Yes.
And because Dan and I were doing the simultaneous programs at down at the Florida Realtors Convention, I think. And that's why I ran into Dan down there. He was doing his keynote where he announced at this keynote that he was going to be president of NSA National. All right, and so jump on those coattails, Brian Waltz is a real good close friend of mine. Brian, we did some stuff years back and everything else. Brian asked me to do a program for him when he was doing programs for National. And if you get that opportunity to do some programs at National, yeah, why not? And we did, and I'll finish this, and I know you guys want to start your programs. It's just I remember this program. We were doing some spotlight programs for about 9 speakers, and Brian called me up and said, Rich, we're doing a spotlight program for 9 speakers. And he said, what we want to do is we want to feature you as the closing speaker. And I said, great, not a problem. I said, I'm more happy to do it. What am I going to say, no? Of course not. And I said, let's take a look. Let's see exactly what we put together. What Brian set up is that you have a timed PowerPoint, okay? And so what you do is you talk through that particular PowerPoint, okay, automatically. Okay, and so it was a test. It was kind of a test to show that the audience, this is what you can do and everything else of this. So I did a program. The program's called Lift More. And as we did the whole entire program, what it is, it's every 9 seconds the screen changes. And you've got to talk within the screen. So the screen is in front of you, all right? You've got total screen in back of you, and what you're doing is you're now just talking to the entire program. So as you're bringing those particular points up, the pictures are coming up on the screen. Very hard, very difficult. All right?
You don't see it ahead of time, so you're having to.
No, I see it ahead of time because I was the guy who put the PowerPoint together.
Well, that's
It was your material.
There was a bonus. All right, without doubt. All right, I get to know what the material is, and so I knew what the PowerPoint was and everything else like this. It's funny when you're now presenting in that kind of arena, you get nothing but full red, 100% speakers. Okay, looking at you going, is he doing it right? What is he doing? He moved wrong. Look at his feet. He's got his hand in his pocket. He's not standing right. He's like, shut up! Shut up! Have fun! And so I remember this. I got some devastating news about 15 minutes before I was going on. I mean, it was really some damaging news, all right? And at that time, I looked at PowerPoint, I looked at the information, I looked at it, and I've got my management company call me from downstairs. Rich, you usually enter programs an hour earlier. What's going on? Where are you? Brian wants to know where you are and everything else. So I said, it's not a problem. I said, I'll be down in a couple minutes. I had just some last minute things that I wanted to take care of, okay? So I get down, I was closing the program's just starting, so I had a little time, so it was good. So I got down there, and Brian says we mic'd up everything, got everything started out. And I remember leaving the hotel room, because I was only upstairs a couple of floors. I remember leaving the hotel room. I got downstairs, I turned around, and with this news, and it just changed my whole mindset, all right? I could not remember a thing. I could not remember what I was going to say, what I was going to do, how I was going to talk. Because this news, okay, devastating for a family member, all right, had just taken me over, okay? And so I got down there, and Kate turned around and said, she said, you all right? Yes, I'm all right, everything's good. So we get up there, and Brian says, Rich, all right, raise it up. And I got a whole room, okay, of NSA sitting out there. And I turn around, and all of a sudden he clicks, and Brian says, and because it just, when he introduced you, boom, he hits the go button, and you just gotta go. And so I turned around and went, bam, and it came out, okay? And it just totally, I mean, everything came out right down to the pinpoint. Brian looks at me, he goes, I don't know how you did that.
Wow.
And he said, that was unbelievable. And just at the end, it's like to about like this, a standing ovation, all right? Dick Russo was sitting in the front, he was yelling, everybody was just going nuts, and I'm going, wow, that's pretty cool. What the hell did I just do?
What did I say?
Did I say something? You know? And so the end result is that we have an opportunity to change people's minds, or put something in their lives that can actually give them the opportunity to carry to that next point. And so that was just cool out there, and that was a kind of an earmark in my world to say, hey, look, you know, how unique it was, all right, to be in that situation. Hopefully I'm never in that situation again, all right, but to be in a unique situation in that position, so to make that decision going forward. And nobody knew what was going on until afterwards I sat down with Brian, and I sat down with Kate, and I said, let me tell you what happened. And they had tears coming down their eyes because they said, I don't know how you did what you just did. And I said, because the show must go on.
Yeah.
And I said, and that's what it is. And so you'll run against those things. But I said, guys, you are in the greatest, I don't take my word back. I said, you're in the greatest of opportunity working with the individuals that you're working with. And then I say, in the membership, it always changes. You know? And the biggest thing is getting those guys themselves that are doing it day in and day out to get those into those meetings. And I just say, get those folks involved, get them engaged, all right? Bring them into the program so they can actually share. I believe in what we call PBA, all right? PBA, let me just make sure I made that right, PBA. I just want to make sure I have the acronym right. I'm a king of acronyms, so I want to make sure I have my own acronym right. PBS, that's what it is. PBS, that's what it is, PBS. PBS is, they say, oh, public broadcasting station. I said, no, PBS is, what is that? What's PBS? Professional brain sucking. My job out there is to get as much information as I can from those halls and NSA and the individuals themselves, reaching, okay, and developing that story and content humor, or taking those simple little tools and making it part of what we do day in, day out.
I love it. I love it.
Cool. Yeah,
So
thank you very much.
I think that was apropos for this audience because you have a lot of aspiring speakers that are all about changing people's lives. And
That's cool.
so
That's
so I'm excited. You got a couple of really dynamic speakers that are going to talk to you today.
Excellent. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, so I'm going to turn it over. So Rich, sit front and center.
Where would you like me to sit? You tell me
Front
where
and
you'd like to
center,
sit.
right up there in front of
I don't want to make you
Richard.
guys nervous or anything.
It's all good. Make them nervous. Stare them down.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, so, and I'm going to turn it over to Laura, who is going to do the introduction here. And Kevin is going to be our first speaker. We may or may not have a few extra minutes. So those of you that I've talked to already, if you kind of have some pocket speeches, if we do have extra minutes for additional speeches, try to keep them to 5 or 10 minutes. We're gonna keep those kind of short. And with that, hang on just a second.
Oh wait, we gotta have our same request from